The fluorescent lights above my desk buzzed like dying insects. I rubbed my eyes, staring at the mountain of files my manager had dumped on me. My coworkers whispered in the corner, their laughter bouncing off the gray office walls. I already knew they weren't laughing with me. "Still dreaming about running your own company, Michael," one of them called out. "Better finish stapling those reports first." I forced a laugh, but my chest tightened. "One day," I muttered. "One day, you'll see." That night, I walked Clara home. Her heels clicked against the sidewalk, sharp and impatient. "You worked late again," she said. "For what?" "A few extra bucks." "I'm learning," I replied. "Every mistake I make now teaches me how to avoid them when I start my own firm." She stopped, arms crossed. "Michael, listen to yourself. You're a clerk. You think filling spreadsheets prepares you to run an empire? It's not about spreadsheets. It's about discipline. I have plans." Her laugh cut through me like glass. "Plans? Dreams don't pay rent. You need to wake up." Her words stung, but I swallowed the bitterness. "Do you believe in me at all?" She looked away, lips curling. "I believe in reality." I didn't answer. My silence felt heavier than her laugh. Later that week, I sat across from Adrian at a cheap diner. He pushed fries around his plate, listening quietly while I rambled about my ideas. "I want to build something from scratch," I said. "A business that makes people proud to work there. No bosses screaming, no fake smiles. Real growth." Adrian nodded slowly, eyes unreadable. "Sounds big." "It is big," I said quickly. "But I know I can do it. I just need time." He leaned back. "And Clara? She doesn't seem sold." I clenched my jaw. "She doesn't understand. But she will, once I prove myself." Adrian shrugged. "Proving yourself takes more than words." "I know," I whispered. "That's why I'm working myself to the bone now." His eyes lingered on me, sharp but quiet. Something flickered there, but I couldn't place it. At home, my mother set a bowl of soup in front of me. "You're working too hard," she said softly. "Don't let their words break you. I see how much you want this." Her warmth almost undid me. "Thanks, Mom." But my father, sitting with his newspaper, grunted. "Dreams are fine until they starve you. Be practical, son. Not everyone is meant to be a leader." My spoon clattered against the bowl. "So you think I should stay small forever?" "I think you should stop chasing castles in the clouds," he said flatly. I stared at him, throat tight. "I'd rather fail chasing the sky than die on the ground." My mother touched my arm, urging silence, but the damage was done. My father's words sank deep. Days blurred into weeks. At work, the same mocking laughter. At home, Clara's sighs grew louder. At night, I scribbled plans in notebooks, my heart pounding with equal parts fear and fire. One evening, Clara glanced at my notes spread across the table. "Still on this fantasy?" "It's not a fantasy," I said. "It's my future." She rolled her eyes. "Your future? You don't even know where to start." "I'll figure it out," I shot back. "I have to." "Michael," she said coldly, "you'll never be more than a dreamer." Her words cut deeper than I could admit. But instead of breaking me, they hardened something inside. The next day at the office, I overheard two coworkers whispering again. "He's pathetic," one said. "Always talking about being a boss. Can't even finish his reports on time." My hands shook, but I smiled. "Laugh all you want. I'll remember every word." At lunch, Adrian sat across from me again. "You look different today. Tired, but sharper." "I'm done waiting," I said firmly. "I don't care who laughs. I'm going to build it." Even if it kills me. He raised an eyebrow. That's a lot of weight to carry. It's the weight of dreams, I said. And I'd rather break under it than live without it. Adrian smirked faintly, but said nothing. His silence pressed against me, strange and unreadable. That night, I walked Clara home again. She linked her arm through mine, but her voice dripped with doubt. "You'll thank me one day for keeping you grounded," she said. I stopped walking. "Or maybe you'll regret never believing in me." She blinked at me, startled by the edge in my voice. I turned away, heart burning. "Laugh all you want, Clara. Everyone laughs now. But one day, they'll choke on it." Her silence followed me into the night. And for the first time, I welcomed it. The night air was heavy when I reached Clara's apartment. I didn't knock right away. I heard laughter inside, hers, light and sharp, mixed with a voice that froze my blood. "Adrian." I pushed the door open. Clara's eyes widened for a second, then narrowed. Adrian didn't even stand up from the couch. His arm was draped casually along the backrest, too close to her. "What the hell is this?" My voice cracked, louder than I intended. Clara sighed. "Michael, don't make a scene." "A scene?" My chest burned. "You're sitting here with him, my best friend, and I'm supposed to act calm." Adrian raised his hands lazily. "Relax, man. It's not what it looks like." "It looks exactly like betrayal," I snapped. "How long?" Clara crossed her arms, her tone flat. "A few months." The word sliced through me. "Months? While you were kissing me goodnight? While he called me brother?" Adrian looked away. "We didn't plan it. It just happened." "Don't insult me," I hissed. "You don't trip and fall into betrayal. You chose this." Clara leaned forward, her eyes cold. "You need to stop acting like a victim. You're chasing dreams that will never happen. Adrian understands reality. You don't." My throat closed. Reality? Or comfort? You traded love for convenience. She laughed bitterly. "Love? Michael, you're obsessed with fantasies. You think one day you'll be some big shot, but you can't even keep up with bills. You'll never be more than a loser chasing impossible dreams." Her words echoed inside me, breaking something I didn't know could break. I turned to Adrian, hoping for denial, for shame, for anything human. He just muttered, "She's not wrong." I stared at him. "You were my brother." He finally met my eyes, but there was no guilt, only weariness. "And brothers grow apart." My legs shook, but I refused to collapse in front of them. "So that's it. Years of friendship, years of love, just gone. Because I dreamed too big?" Clara's silence was sharper than her words. I stepped back toward the door, my breath shallow. "You know what? Keep each other. I hope you choke on what you stole." "Michael," Adrian said softly, "don't be dramatic." "Dramatic?" My laugh came out hollow. "You burned my world down and want me to clap politely? You'll regret this. Both of you." Clara rolled her eyes. "Threats won't change who you are." "No," I whispered. "But they'll change who I'll become." I left before they could answer. The hallway spun as I staggered outside. The night was colder now, my hands trembling. Their voices still rang in my ears, mocking, final. I walked without knowing where I was going, only that I couldn't breathe near them. Hours later, I found myself at the riverbank, staring at black water rippling under streetlights. Rage fought numbness inside me, tearing me apart. "You'll never be more than a loser," Clara's voice echoed. "She's not wrong," Adrian's words stabbed again. I wanted to scream, to smash something, to erase every memory of them. Instead, I sank onto the cold steps and pressed my hands against my face. My body shook, but no tears came. Not yet. I whispered into the darkness, I trusted you both. And you killed that trust with a smile. The river answered with silence. For hours, I sat there, replaying every laugh we'd shared, every promise made. All poisoned now. By dawn, exhaustion dulled the rage, leaving only emptiness. But inside that emptiness, a spark glowed faintly. I clenched my fists. I won't beg for love. I won't beg for loyalty. If I'm nothing now, then I'll build myself into something they can never touch. The morning sun rose, pale and unforgiving. My reflection stared back from the water, hollow-eyed but alive. That night had burned me to ashes. But ashes could still feed a fire. And mine had only begun. I quit my job without warning. My manager asked, "Are you sure about this?" And I just muttered, "Doesn't matter anymore," before walking out. After that, days blurred. At dinner, my father's voice cut sharp. He's wasting his life. Sitting in that room, refusing to work, what kind of man does that? My mother pleaded, "He needs time, he's hurting." "Time," he barked. "He'll rot if we let him." I pressed my palms over my ears upstairs, but their voices seeped through the walls. Then Lena's knock came, soft but insistent. "Hey. Open up." I let her in. She sat cross-legged on my floor, eyes studying me. "You look like hell," she said bluntly. "Thanks," I muttered. "You think hiding here makes you invisible?" "I'm tired of trying, Lena. Every time I stand, the world pushes me back down." She leaned closer. "So you just stop. That's not you. Maybe it is. Maybe I was always just, nothing." Her hand shot out, gripping mine. "Don't you dare. You're my brother. You're the guy who told me to fight when I wanted to quit school. Remember that?" I swallowed hard. That was different. "No," she snapped. "It's the same. You're not worthless, Michael. You're wounded. There's a difference." Her words sank deeper than she knew. That night, I stared at the mirror in the bathroom. My reflection looked hollow, sunken-eyed, someone I barely recognized. "Who are you?" I whispered to myself. No answer came. Just silence, louder than screams. Days dragged on. Shadows became company. Sleep came in broken pieces, stolen by memories of Clara's voice, Adrian's betrayal, my father's disappointment. One evening, Lena barged in again, dropping a sandwich onto my desk. "Eat. Or I'll stuff it down your throat." I forced a small laugh. "You're terrifying." "Good. Fear me into keeping you alive." I took a bite just to appease her. She grinned triumphantly. "See? Progress." For the first time in weeks, I felt warmth crack through the darkness. Still, nights were the worst. I'd sit by the window, staring at my reflection in the glass, torn between two voices inside me. One whispered, "Give up. You'll never matter." The other, quieter but stubborn, said, "Start over." I didn't know which to believe. Then came the chance encounter. I was wandering downtown, aimless, when I saw him, an older man feeding pigeons near the fountain. He looked up, noticing me lingering. "Lost?" he asked. "Maybe," I admitted. He chuckled. "Join the club. I've been lost plenty." Something in his eyes, steady, unafraid, kept me there. "You work around here?" he asked. "Not anymore. I quit." He nodded thoughtfully. "Good. Quitting isn't always failure. Sometimes it's a doorway." I frowned. "Doorway to what?" "Whatever comes next," he said simply. His calm unsettled me. "And what if nothing comes next?" "Then you keep moving until it does." He tossed crumbs to the pigeons. Dreams don't matter if you stop moving. The word struck harder than I expected. Who are you? I asked. Name's Hale. Used to run a few businesses before retiring. Lost some, won some. He shrugged. But I only lost when I stopped trying. I felt something stir inside me, a fragile spark, faint but alive. You really believe that? I asked. He smiled. Son, it's the only reason I'm still breathing. We talked a little longer, nothing profound, yet every word chipped at the walls around me. When I finally walked away, his sentence echoed louder than Clara's insults or Adrian's betrayal. Dreams don't matter if you stop moving. That night, I sat at my desk for the first time in weeks. My notebook lay open, blank pages waiting. My hand hovered with a pen, shaking but ready. Lena knocked softly. You okay? I looked at her and whispered, not yet. But maybe, getting there. Her smile said enough. For the first time since everything burned down, the silence didn't feel like ashes. It felt like space to begin again. The first day I opened my little office, the room smelled like dust and peeling paint. A single desk, a flickering bulb, and a second-hand chair, it wasn't much, but it was mine. Lena peeked in and frowned. This is it? Yeah, I said, forcing confidence. Headquarters of the next big firm. She crossed her arms. You need a miracle. I'll take one, I muttered, setting my laptop down. That night, the landlord called. Rent's due in 3 days. I just moved in, I argued. And rent still doesn't wait. 3 days. I hung up, muttering, great start. The next week was worse. A supplier promised flyers for my marketing pitch, then sent half the order, smudged and late. When I called, the man laughed. What do you expect? You're small. Pay more if you want better. I slammed the phone. I'll remember this. Whispers floated in from neighbors, cruel and sharp. He won't last a month, one said. Another dreamer burning out. Their laughter carried through the thin walls. I wanted to quit, but Hale's words haunted me, dreams don't matter if you stop moving. So I kept moving. One night, while scribbling figures, a gentle knock came. A woman stepped in, calm, composed, holding a box. You're Michael, right? She asked. Yes. And you are? Sophia. My father said you might need these. She placed the box on my desk, printer paper, pens, folders. I blinked. Wait, Mr. Hale's your father. She smiled. He talks about you. Said you're stubborn enough to survive. That's flattering, I guess. She tilted her head. You don't look flattered. You look exhausted. Because I am, I admitted. Every day feels like another punch in the gut. Then you hit back, she said simply. Her words steadied me more than I wanted to admit. From then on, Sophia stopped by often. Sometimes with supplies, sometimes with advice. One evening, she caught me crumpling a failed proposal. Don't, she said, grabbing it. It's trash, I muttered. It's practice. Every draft gets you closer. I sighed. What if I never get closer? She looked me dead in the eye. Then you keep walking. Fire burns, but it also forges. Her conviction was unnerving. Still, it kept me alive. Weeks bled into months. I pitched to small businesses, got turned away more times than I could count. We'll pass, they said. Too inexperienced. Every rejection stacked like bricks on my chest. But I refused to stop. I worked nights, rewriting plans, teaching myself from free courses, chasing leads no one believed in. One night, Lena poked her head in. You haven't slept. Can't, I muttered. Big meeting tomorrow. With who? Lorenzo Imports. If I land this, it covers rent for 6 months. She raised a brow. And if you don't? I looked at my papers, trembling hands smoothing them. Then I don't know. The next morning, I walked into their office, nerves gnawing me raw. Mr. Lorenzo, sharp-eyed and stone-faced, leaned back. So, why should we trust you? He asked. I swallowed hard. Because I won't fail. I can't. My firm isn't big, but I'll give you what no one else will, every drop of myself. He smirked. Big words. Everyone says that. I don't have the luxury of empty promises, I said firmly. If I fail you, I lose everything. That's why I won't. Silence stretched. Then he leaned forward. Send me a draft contract. Let's see if you're as desperate as you sound. When I left, I could barely breathe. That night, I worked until sunrise, crafting every clause, every line, until it was bulletproof. My fingers cramped, eyes burned, but I didn't stop. Sophia came by with coffee. You look like death, she said. Death is overrated, I muttered. Contracts aren't. She laughed softly. You're insane. Maybe. But insanity wins sometimes. The following week, Lorenzo called. We'll sign. Don't make me regret this. I froze, phone clutched tight. You mean it? First shipment next month. Don't screw up. I hung up, my body shaking. Lena burst into the room. Well? I grinned, tears stinging. We did it. She screamed and hugged me so hard I almost fell. Sophia, standing quietly in the doorway, just smiled. That night, I sat alone at my desk, staring at the signed contract. For the first time, the voices of doubt were silent. I whispered to the empty room, they'll see. One day, they'll see. I never thought I'd see my name etched in gold letters on an office door. Michael Carter, CEO. The words glimmered back at me like a dream that had finally stopped laughing at me. Lena walked in, whistling. You actually did it. Barely believe it myself, I said, running my hand across the polished desk. You sound shocked. I am. This used to be impossible. She smirked. Guess impossible doesn't mean much anymore. I laughed, but before I could reply, my secretary buzzed. Sir, there's someone here asking for you. He says it's urgent. Who? There was hesitation. Adrian. He says you'll know him. My chest tightened. Send him in. The door opened, and there he was, Adrian, thinner, eyes bloodshot, clothes rumpled. Michael, he said softly. I crossed my arms. It's been years. He nodded, shifting awkwardly. I know. I messed up. Cut to the point. I need help. A job. Anything. His voice cracked. You've built something incredible, and You betrayed me, I snapped. You and Clara. His face crumpled. I regret it every day. You regret getting caught, I said coldly. No, he whispered. I regret losing my brother. I stared at him, old memories clawing at me, late nights laughing, dreams shared over cheap beer. Then Clara's voice echoed in my mind, you'll never be more than a loser chasing impossible dreams. I shook my head. You don't get to say that word anymore. Brother. He swallowed hard. Please, Michael. I'm drowning. I leaned forward. I drowned once too. You held me under. Silence. His eyes glistened, but he said nothing. Leave, I finally said. He hesitated, then whispered, I'm sorry, before slipping out. The door clicked shut, but the room still felt heavy with his presence. That evening, I attended a charity gala. Cameras flashed, champagne flowed, and I moved through the crowd like I belonged. Then I saw her. Clara. She stood across the room, draped in a glittering dress, her arm looped through a wealthy man's. She laughed too loudly, her smile sharp and practiced. For a moment, she pretended not to see me. But her eyes betrayed her, locking on mine, wide with disbelief. I raised my glass slightly, a silent acknowledgement. Her laughter faltered. The man at her side leaned down. "What's wrong?" "Nothing," she said quickly, forcing another laugh. But her gaze kept flicking back to me. Lena noticed and whispered, "That's her, isn't it?" "Yes. She looks different." "She looks hollow," I said quietly. Clara finally excused herself from her companion and crossed the room, each step deliberate. "Michael," she said, her voice softer than I remembered. "Clara." Her eyes scanned me. "CEO, huh? You've changed. People do." She bit her lip. I didn't expect, her words trailed off. "That I'd make it?" I asked. She flinched. "That you'd look so untouchable." I let out a bitter laugh. "Funny. You once told me I'd never be more than a loser." Her face paled. "I was cruel. I thought. You thought Adrian and your new life were better than me." Her voice trembled. "At the time, yes. But standing here, looking at you." "Don't," I cut in sharply. "Don't rewrite history." Her eyes shimmered. "I didn't come here to beg. I just wanted to say I see now what I threw away." I stared at her, waiting for anger to flare. Instead, a strange emptiness filled me. "Good," I said simply. "Because I don't." She blinked. "What do you mean?" "I don't see what I lost. I only see what I gained when you left." Her breath caught. She turned slightly, as if to hide her face from the crowd. "You're colder than I remember. I learned it from you." The silence between us stretched until the man she'd come with called her name. She straightened, forcing another smile. "Good luck, Michael." "You'll need it more than me," I replied. As she walked away, I caught the faintest tremor in her shoulders. Later that night, Lena asked, "How did it feel seeing them both again?" I poured myself a drink, staring at the city lights outside my window. Bitter. Strange. Hollow. I exhaled slowly. Like winning a war I never wanted to fight. She touched my arm. "At least you won." I shook my head. Sometimes victory feels like ashes. But even as I said it, I knew one truth: I'd never beg for them again. Adrian stood in my office again, thinner than before, his eyes hollow. "Michael," he whispered, voice shaking. "I'm begging you. Give me a position. Any position. I'll sweep the floors if I have to." I leaned back in my chair. "You want to work for me?" "Yes. Please. Life has punished me enough. I've lost everything." His hands trembled on the desk. "I can't keep sinking. You expect me to forget what you did?" He swallowed. "I don't expect forgiveness. Just a chance to breathe again." I stared at him, silence stretching like a blade. The sight of him begging should have made me furious. Instead, I felt something darker: satisfaction. "You called me a dreamer," I said coldly. "Now you want to live off those dreams." His lips trembled. I was wrong. Too late. His head dropped, shoulders sagging. He didn't argue. He didn't fight. He just nodded slowly, as if he'd already expected this. "I'll find another way," he murmured, then left without looking back. The door closed, but his words lingered. Later that week, Clara appeared at a private dinner. She waited until I stepped aside, then followed me onto the balcony. "Michael," she said, her voice unsteady. I kept my gaze on the skyline. "Clara." She hesitated. "You look different. Stronger. Success does that." Her laugh was brittle. "I see that now. I was blind." I turned to her, raising a brow. "Blind? Or greedy?" Her face flushed. "I regret leaving you. I regret everything." The words hit me harder than I expected. Once, I would have given anything to hear them. Now, they felt hollow. "You said I'd never be more than a loser," I reminded her. Tears pooled in her eyes. "I was wrong. I was stupid. I thought Adrian and wealth meant happiness. But he's ruined, and her voice cracked. "I'm miserable." I studied her, drinking in every tremble, every broken syllable. A twisted part of me savored it. This was justice. Karma. "You want me to forgive you?" I asked. Her lips parted, but no words came out. "I don't need your apology," I said quietly. "And you don't get my forgiveness." Her tears slipped free. "So this is it? This is it." She turned away, shaking, and disappeared into the crowd. When I went back inside, Sophia was waiting, her arms crossed. "She cornered you, didn't she?" "Yes." "And?" "She regrets leaving." Sophia rolled her eyes. "Of course she does. Regret is cheap when the damage is done." I exhaled slowly. Part of me wanted to throw her words back in her face. To humiliate her the way she did me. "And did you?" "No. I didn't need to." Sophia stepped closer, her gaze steady. "Good. Don't waste energy on ghosts. Let your silence speak. Let your success do the talking." Her words sank into me like iron. I didn't need revenge. I didn't need to scream. I already won. That night, lying in bed, I thought about Adrian's trembling voice, Clara's tears. Once, they had the power to break me. Now, they were powerless. I whispered to the dark, "Silence is enough." The chandeliers above glowed like fire. Glasses clinked, laughter carried across the hall, and cameras flashed. I stood near the stage, shaking hands, answering questions, wearing the mask of a man who'd made it. Then I heard it, her voice. "Michael." Heads turned. Clara staggered through the crowd, a glass of wine spilling over her fingers. Her dress shimmered, but her eyes were glazed. "Clara," I muttered under my breath. She swayed toward me, her words slurring. "I had to come. I had to see you." I clenched my jaw. "This isn't the place." She laughed, a brittle, broken sound. "The place? This is perfect. Everyone's here. Everyone can finally know the truth." Murmurs rippled through the crowd. People leaned closer. Adrian lingered in the corner, half hidden, staring at the floor. Clara raised her glass like a toast, then nearly dropped it. You were the one I truly loved." My chest tightened. "Stop this." "No," she cried, her voice cracking. "Leaving you was my biggest mistake. My biggest regret." Her mascara smudged as tears streamed down. "You built everything I thought you couldn't. And me? I'm nothing. Nothing." The hall fell silent. Forks froze mid-air. Phones lifted discreetly. Every eye turned to me. I stood straighter, heat burning beneath my skin. The surreal weight of it all pressed on me, the girl who once mocked me, now crumbling in front of 100 witnesses. "Clara," I said evenly. Her eyes lit up, desperate, hopeful. "Yes. Please, say something. Say you still." I cut her off. You laughed at my dreams. Her face paled. And now, I said, my voice like stone, my silence is all you'll get. A gasp swept through the room. Whispers erupted, harsh as the crack of lightning. Clara's knees buckled. She dropped to the floor, sobbing, her glass shattering beside her. Michael, she pleaded, reaching toward me. Please, don't turn away. Not you. Not now. I looked down at her, my pulse steady. It's already done. Adrian shifted in the corner, shoulders hunched, still refusing to meet my eyes. A man near the bar muttered, God, this is brutal. Another whispered, she deserves it. Cameras clicked. The air smelled of wine and shame. Sophia appeared at my side, her hand brushing mine. Don't say more, she whispered. I wasn't going to. She nodded. Good. You've said enough. Clara clung to the hem of my jacket, but I pulled free. Clara, I said quietly, this isn't love. This is desperation. Her sobs tore through the silence. I thought I'd have forever. I thought you'd wait for me. I shook my head. I stopped waiting the day I chose myself. Her body slumped. Two attendants hurried forward, lifting her gently, leading her away. The crowd parted like water, their stares slicing the air. I exhaled, my voice low but firm. Back to business. A nervous laugh broke out, then scattered claps, hesitant at first, then swelling until the hall was alive again. People turned back to their tables, though their whispers lingered. Adrian tried to slip away, but I caught his shadow. Leaving so soon? I called. He froze, then turned slowly. His eyes were dull, empty. You can't even look at me, can you? I said. He forced a weak smile. What would be the point? You've already won. No, Adrian, I replied, voice steady. I didn't win against you. I won against the version of me you tried to destroy. He flinched, lips tightening. Without another word, he walked out. The hall's noise swelled again, music, laughter, chatter, but inside me, silence thundered louder. Sophia touched my shoulder. Are you all right? Yes, I said, though the words felt heavy. You handled it with strength, she murmured. I closed my eyes briefly. Strength, maybe. Or just restraint. Looking out over the glittering tables, I felt a strange hollowness. My silence had spoken, yes. It had crushed Clara, it had silenced Adrian. But as the applause dimmed and the lights gleamed overhead, I whispered to myself, why doesn't it feel like victory? The night after the gala stretched endlessly. My reflection in the window looked victorious, but my chest felt hollow. Sophia broke the silence first. You should be proud. You held yourself with dignity. I leaned against the glass. Then why do I feel like I lost something? You didn't lose, she said gently. You just saw the truth. And truth rarely feels like triumph. I let out a bitter laugh. I waited years for that moment, seeing Clara fall, Adrian shrink into shadows. I thought it would heal me. And did it? No, I admitted. It just left a hole. Revenge doesn't fill anything. Sophia moved closer, her voice soft. Because your life isn't supposed to revolve around them anymore. I pressed my palms together. But everything I've built, it started with their betrayal. Their laughter was my fire. That fire kept you alive, she said, but it doesn't have to keep burning. You can build from love, not anger. Her words sat heavy in me, unsettling but true. Do you know what hurt most? I whispered. It wasn't Clara mocking me. It wasn't Adrian turning his back. It was me believing, even for a second, that they might be right. Sophia touched my arm. And now? Now I know they weren't. But knowing doesn't erase the scars. She smiled faintly. Scars don't have to disappear. They just stop hurting when you stop picking at them. I sat in silence, her words echoing. For years, my identity had been chained to proving them wrong. Every deal, every late night, every step forward, I carried their shadows with me. Sophia broke into my thoughts. Tell me something, Michael. If Adrian never betrayed you, if Clara had stayed, would you still have fought this hard? I hesitated. Maybe not. Then their betrayal gave you a gift. A cruel one, but a gift nonetheless. A gift that poisoned me. Only if you let it. She met my eyes. You've proven enough. Not to them, to yourself. Isn't that enough? I swallowed hard. I don't know. I've lived so long fighting ghosts. Then stop fighting them, she said simply. Her calmness cut sharper than any lecture. The next morning, Lena called. I heard what happened, she said. Clara humiliated herself in front of the city. Adrian disappeared. Everyone's talking. Let them talk. My voice surprised me with its steadiness. Are you okay? I don't know, I confessed. It feels like I climbed a mountain, but there's nothing at the top. Maybe the mountain was never about them, she said softly. Maybe it was about you finding yourself. Her words mirrored Sophia's. I felt cornered by truth. Lena, I asked, when you look at me, do you see someone who's finally free? I see my brother, she said. Who's always been more than what they called him. Maybe now you just need to see it too. I closed my eyes, breathing deeply. Later that week, Clara sent a letter. The handwriting was shaky, uneven. She wrote about regret, about loneliness, about how success hadn't brought her happiness. I read it once, then folded it away. No reply. Adrian tried calling. I let the phone ring. Sophia noticed. You're not answering. No. Why? Because silence is my answer. I don't owe them words anymore. She smiled, proud. That's closure. Closure feels strange, I admitted. Like letting go of an anchor I didn't know I was dragging. That's freedom. That night, I stood outside my office, city lights blazing like stars brought to earth. For once, I wasn't thinking of revenge or recognition. I was thinking of myself, of the man who survived, who built, who endured. Sophia joined me, her hand slipping into mine. Where do you go from here? She asked. Forward, I said simply. She squeezed my hand. Not away from the past, just beyond it. I nodded. I don't want to erase it. I just don't want it to own me anymore. We stood in silence, the city alive beneath us, the shadows finally loosening their grip. I whispered into the night, more to myself than anyone, I finally breathed free. And for the first time, I believed it.